You can hear all that shit. Oh well. Let's get live. If you ain't got nowhere to be, this is the place to be. The Neff News Podcast is live. Hey, mess around, let that thing run too long. My bad. Let that thing run a little too long. That thing ran a whole thing out that thing too, man. Anyway, what it do, everybody? What it do, everybody? The Neff Knows Podcast, man. And you know who I am. Nephew is in the house tonight. Yesterday was wife day, so I had to enjoy that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We don't get to hang out like that, you feel me? Since we got married, though, we probably hang out maybe twice a month, maybe twice a month, something like that. I don't know. It's somewhere in the twice a month situation. But yesterday was wife day, so I ain't touched no video games. I didn't touch nothing. It was just all wife, and I'm talking about every stove in Hoover. We was in the middle of it, so so I enjoyed our day. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy wife day. Feel me? I even got some good treats from Eggers, man. Y'all gotta check Eggers out in Hoover too. In that little whole shopping center Hoover got, feel me? It's deep. It's different. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple folks tell me send them the link. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I'm live, I don't be wanting to send the link. But I do what I can though. I send that link out there. But what's good, everybody though, man? If you don't get a chance to hang out with your old lady, do it. You don't get it. You don't get that too much. So, my wife cool. So you know what I'm saying. And when she pulled that credit card out, swipe, 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 it be going in. Feel me? But college football pretty good yesterday too. I mean, we had a lot of postponed games. LSU Florida postponed. It's pushed back to December 12th. Cincy versus Tulsa, it was postponed. And Oklahoma State versus Baylor was postponed. So like, I think that little virus, you gotta watch what you say. YouTube pick it up and then put everything on the front of your video. But that little virus is kind of all in the middle, in the way of everything. But it's a good showing though. You know, I think whatever the little group chat between Kirby, Jeremy, Derek, and all of them, throw that in the garbage can. Throw that in the garbage can. It's terrible. But the title on the page said Bama versus Clemson Trilogy. I don't know if I think that's 4. I think that'll be the 4th time they play. But you ask me, that's what the college football is shaping up to be. I mean, depending on what Ohio State and them look like, and Michigan, and all the other teams that ain't played yet, depending on what they look like, honestly, we might have to revert back to the BCS standing situation. You know what I'm saying? Because by the time Ohio State finish out 10 games, or how many other games they're going to finish off, Clemson and Bama going to be already, like and played 11 games or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I think Ohio State only played like 8, 10, 5, something like that. Like we might have to scroll back to the old BCS way. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they go. Yeah, I do think that too. I mean, the toughest competition Bama didn't had, well, Bama didn't had was last night, and in the second half they dominated Georgia. I mean, Georgia couldn't even get down the field, and we'll talk about that Bama Georgia game a little bit later on in the show or whatnot. But firing Gus or benching Knicks is my want to be one of my first topics or whatnot. I don't even want to talk about Trevor Lawrence and them 5 touchdowns and that 73 points that they put up against Georgia Tech. That was just embarrassing. And you ask me, I think Dabo needs to be slapped on his wrist or something. Call the dogs off, dog. I mean, the score was already blown out from the opening clock. Stop this. I mean, pull some punches, bro. I mean, Jesus Christ, 73 points, really? Come on, man. But let's talk Auburn, South Carolina. Let's talk Auburn, South Carolina. First of all, this is what I want a lot of Auburn fans to understand. South Carolina at 11 o'clock in the morning are already up, already ready to play, already juiced up. It's hard to beat South Carolina at 11 o'clock in the morning. Every time I go live, I get the sniffles. But South Carolina, man. South Carolina beat Georgia when Georgia was ranked, I think they were ranked 5 or 6, 2019. Beat them at 11 o'clock in the morning. They beat a lot of people early in the morning, man. Like that's South Carolina's thing. You play South Carolina in the middle of the day, 2:30, 6:30, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. No, you might have different results. But South Carolina early in the morning is a totally different football team. They get up ready to play football because they got the rest of the day to themselves. Regardless they win or lose, they still gonna throw a party. They still gonna go crazy. So, fire Gus. They are asking too much for Knicks, and other than the INTs, Knicks did good. Too many drop passes by receivers. To be honest, bro, I think the fan support, boosters, and everybody in that Auburn community, I think y'all are asking for too much from Gus. Don't get me wrong. Gus has led these guys to an SEC title. You can't really say, well, Gus, you can't really say, Gus, we need an offensive coordinator. Okay, well, let me get my offensive coordinator. Here you go. Y'all got an offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator don't know his personnel. You know, Tank Bigsby. Oh, excuse me. He's got 50 touches for 303 yards and 1 touchdown. That's Auburn's MO is run the ball. Is run over the top. Run over the top. That's Auburn's MO. Why change it now? You cannot make Bo Nix a passing quarterback. That has not been Auburn's MO for the past 10 years. Jeremy Johnson is a runner. Kyle Frazier, runner. Cam Newton, runner. He could throw, but he's a runner. Jeremy Johnson, Kyle Frazier, Nick Marshall. All these guys can have legs. So you want to all of a sudden now you want to make Auburn a passing team? That's not the MO. And people line up for that. Yeah, Nick Marshall's a runner, right? That's what I'm saying. That's not the MO. You can't make them something that they're not. So I think that's the first problem you get when you talk about Auburn's offense and how stale it looks. I've said it since week 1. Auburn offense looks stale. One, because they're not doing what they normally do. If don't get me wrong, if Auburn gets back to the basics of RPOs and running the ball and the spread option and all that stuff like that, then they might come alive. But right now, Auburn can't come alive because they want Bo Nix to be a passing quarterback. He is not Peyton Manning. He's not Cam Newton. they'll win a couple more games depending on what their schedule look like. I mean, if they play Arkansas, like let's dive into Auburn's schedule first of all. Let's dive into the schedule. Let's go there and get that under control. I think I don't. Auburn didn't even look ready like they were ready to play the game anyway. So that's just they play LSU, Ole Miss. Well, Ole Miss might get them, depending on how tricky the plays be or whatnot. Ole Miss runs an offense that's we can get 2 yards, we back at the line before the referee gets the ball and blows the whistle. You know what I'm saying? So like that hurry up offense is that's one of Auburn's MOs. So they should be prepared for that. So they just gotta score some points. Oh yeah, it's tough. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, but mm, Ole Miss, Tennessee, they should beat Tennessee. Tennessee's got a quarterback issue right now. They're not beating Alabama. LSU, you got to score some points with LSU, and Texas A&M, you might lose to them too. I mean, it might be a bad season. First of all, you can't really you really can't look at this season like, oh, it's championship or not. It's not. No, for no team at the SEC, it's not championship or not. Mm. Oh yeah, indeed. But it's not championship or not because I mean you're gonna play 10 SEC games. Don't get me wrong, that's cool, but you don't have a week to. Yeah, but you don't have a week to get ready for your next opponent. I mean, it's like I said last week. It's scheme on scheme. My coach versus your coach. My players versus your players. And who's got the better players? Right now, no SEC team looks dominant. Alabama dominated Georgia in the second half, but they don't look dominant either. Georgia. I'm not gonna say they had them on the ropes, but Georgia made them look like, hey, we can anybody can score them, especially with Stinson Bennett, and he's trash. That to me, he's garbage. He's not a good quarterback. But like I said, I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So it was more like it was more of a nah. Alabama just got some good receivers. If the right pressure is in Mac Jones' face, he ain't got to do nothing but throw it up in the air. I mean, look at the play from the 10-yard line. Cross and deep, throw it up in the air, and you got a guy that's running a 4 flat gonna go get it. Come on, man, it's Tyreek Hill Jr. Get out of there with that. And they just got some good receivers. They got a good running back, some good receivers. But have you seen? Mac Jones under pressure? Under pressure, being sacked multiple times. I mean, Alabama has always had a great offensive line. Like, I mean, number 69 on their team is huge. That boy's the size of the line. So, like, that's what I said. Like, it's gonna be hard to beat Bama this year, especially when their toughest opponent was they just played them. And you asked me, Kirby got out of his game plan. He didn't have a answer for Alabama in the second half. You asked me, 24-20 going in the half. Kirby's up. Kirby stopped playing his game. He started trying to play the game that he seen Ole Miss playing. He tried to play the game that Kellen Mond and Texas A&M played. He tried to do hurry ups and stuff like that. When he got out of Kirby Smart's game plan and got into, oh, this is what they did with this and this, that. That's when the game turned left. You got to play your game, man on man, body on body, scheme on scheme. And when you're in the red zone, you got to score some points. That's kicking them field goals ain't gonna cut it. Run the ball. Georgia tried to make Stinson Bennett a quarterback yesterday. Nah, he's 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", maybe 5'9" and a half. Nah, he can't see over the line. That's why he don't drop back that far. That's why a lot of his balls was tipped, slapped down, and all that stuff like that. Because he's first of all, he's short, and he can't see over the line. Skipping on back to it. With Auburn has to get back to the game plan. And the game plan is run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Oh, we'll hit him deep with a pass. That's when Bo Nix is at his best. That's when Auburn's at their best, when they run the ball. When they stop running the ball, the guy has 50 touches for 300 yards. That's what over the course of 4 games. He only got 300 yards. That's not Auburn's MO, not even a little bit. Bo Nix has more rushing yards than their backup running back. You know what I'm saying? The guy behind Tank or whatnot. So what that tell you is it could be better. It could be better. Offensive coordinator, honestly, if I'm Gus, I'll tell him like, look, we gonna do this my way. Because they gonna fire me, not you. We're gonna do this my way. We're gonna get back to running the ball. Auburn's not running the ball enough. They had 111 yards on the ground yesterday. They only lost by 8 points. Imagine in the Georgia game, they only had 95 yards on the ground. That's total, and that's what everybody on the team running or whatever. That's just how that go. But South Carolina gets up early in the morning, 11 o'clock. That final score was 30-22, South Carolina. And don't get me wrong, South Carolina don't look good. They just look good at 11 o'clock in the morning. By the time the sun comes up and everybody ate breakfast and it's about 1 o'clock in the evening, you better been to blow South Carolina out the water because if the game's close, they got to win. They got a chance to win. Ask Georgia, 24-21, 11 o'clock in the morning. On to my next topic, man. I'm going to get on I honestly say keep Gus. That's my final opinion about that. Had to get some water. Getting a little dry. But I honestly say keep Gus around. Gus is about the best thing that happened to that program. Gene Chizik just had Cam Newton, right? Phil Farmer, that's not Phil Farmer. Tuberville. Tuberville took him undefeated, got a championship out of it. No, they didn't get a championship. They split something with somebody. But yeah, Tuberville didn't get a championship out of him either. It's just Gus is a strong quarterback away from competing. You gotta think about it. They beat Alabama last year. You know what I'm saying? Gus has beat Bama what? 3 times out of 10 years, maybe? 4 times out of 10 years? I don't know. All you Auburn fans should be knowing this. This is like trivia time for y'all. So like we should be, you know what I'm saying? Like you got to think about the good and the bad. They was in the SEC championship 2 years ago. The only thing Gus has not done is made the playoffs. That's it. And the playoff and you ask me, the playoffs are overrated anyway. The same 4 or 5 teams have been playoff worthy since the playoffs started. Like I said, the playoffs to me they're overrated. They're overrated and unbalanced. Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, LSU last year, but you can't even. I wouldn't even give them the conversation because they had a good core. They whole team was loaded. They supposed to won a national title last year, but to me the playoffs are overrated. Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Clemson. That's it. Notre Dame might have squeaked in there one time, but like the main 4 teams, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson, that's it. That's all we getting out of the playoffs. So like you can't really hold that playoff conversation towards Gus because at the beginning of every year, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State are the top 3 teams, period. Regardless if Ohio State's 5 or 4 or 3 or 2, they've been won once. But since the playoffs have started, Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State have been the top 3 teams to start off, and they have cake schedules. Sorry to tell all Alabama fans that, but cake schedules. You know what I'm saying? But you can't really say that the SEC schedule is cake because it's just a team. Florida was good at one point in time ago. Since the playoffs started, Alabama hasn't played Florida. Florida's got to get there. They've played Georgia. Georgia's another top team. You know what I'm saying? That didn't been in the playoffs. But when the playoffs started, Kirby was with Alabama, right? So but anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is Gus has done everything that has done anything with winning. He's been there. So why is firing Gus gonna solve any problem? You definitely don't want to hire that offensive coordinator you got who don't know the personnel of the team, right? and he's only been there what, this year? That's it. It's a building process. Everybody goes through the stage of rebuilding. You lost Cam, you rebuild. You lost Cam and went to the SEC title game the next year. You just have to keep building. Bo Nix, don't get me wrong, I think Bo Nix is a decent quarterback. I think it's time to bench him though. It's time to see what else is on the sideline that he played with. Because the year you had Nick Marsh and Jeremy Johnson, they both got time to play. You asked me, you should have kept Gatewood around, even though he wanted to transfer because he didn't think Bo Nix was good. So that's just how that Auburn conversation goes. So I mean, you got to tell Daddy Nix, hey, you got to chill, baby. I'm running the team from here on out. I mean, and unless they finna let you come coach, this is my team, cuz. And that's how they're gonna go. Booster money. I mean, booster money is booster money. You going if Bo Nix dad is coaching my team, fire me. Let me get my check and get lost. That's all I'm talking about on Auburn though. Don't fire Gus, just bench Nix. That's how that goes. Trevor Lawrence, 24 for 32, 402 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an interception, 73-7. Are they trying to show us they dominant? No. Your conference just garbage. To be honest, I mean the only team now in the ACC worth talking about is Notre Dame, and they're not even part of the conference. But I don't know. Florida State got a big win against North Carolina. Miami beat. Who Miami beat? He said, "Fire Gus." You got to put it in the group chat. Don't text it to me. Put it in the group chat. Okay, yeah. You got to put it in the chat. In the what's the name? They text my phone and said, "Fire Gus." That's crazy. Not me though. I wouldn't say fire Gus, man. I think that's a little bit too overboard. But let's get back to it. Florida State beat North Carolina, and Miami beat somebody. But since the shellacking, Clemson, I think this pandemic really just gave Clemson that edge. They've been in the championship. Yeah, I mean that, but let's be honest now. A win is a win. So if Clemson had to beat Georgia Tech 25-22, what would you say then? Like there's no clear cut right now. There's no clear cut team that just says, okay, we're going out here every weekend and beat the doors off whoever's standing in front of us. Only team that's done it is Clemson. That's it. Alabama ranks number 2. They'll never rank number 1 over Clemson because of how the situation goes up. You know what I'm saying? But now if Alabama, like when Alabama beat Texas A&M, right? So the score is 52-24. Them style points, right? So Clemson comes back and busts Georgia Tech head 73-7. You can switch that because Georgia Tech is not better than Texas A&M. You can switch them for 1 week, but it's gonna go. I mean, but it can go back. You see what I'm saying? So I think the points being matched, man, it's hard to even talk college football dominance right now because everybody's scared to touch each other. You see what happened when you go out up into Ole Miss? Your whole team get it. Your whole team get it. Coaches and all, except for Nick. Except for Nick. Nick is the only guy I know who is positive and negative in a week. No isolation, no none of that. So I don't know. That's different. Oh man, it's tough. Oh, that's just juice too. I don't drink liquor at all. Anyway, like I said, with Notre Dame right now is like still undefeated, and that's like the closest thing to getting close to beating Clemson is Notre Dame. That's the only thing I'm saying. With Miami and Florida State, North Carolina, Georgia Tech, like them just teams that are just just lining up. You see what happened when Clemson beat Miami? The score was like 52-10, right? When they play Florida State, it's gonna be uglier. You know what I'm saying? Like Florida State, the only thing Florida State did last night was showed us that North Carolina can be beat, and which they were. Which I mean, the score was like 31-13, and they end up coming back, but they still lost. So that like the ACC is not up for grabs. Clemson is gonna dominate that conference until Dabo retires. ACC is Clemson. Clemson is the ACC. That's it. That's the only thing you get out of it. And Notre Dame's over there for 1 year. That's just because of the pandemic or whatnot. So that's just how the cookie crumbles right now. So, you know, why not? Who else we got? Kentucky. Kentucky did what they were supposed to do. I'm telling you, listen, man, let me tell you. The SEC East is so up for grabs, dog. To the point where it says everybody has a loss in the SEC East. Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida. The SEC East is so up for grabs. So imagine when them teams get to playing each other. You know what I'm saying? And Missouri has a loss. Does Missouri? Yeah, Missouri has a loss to an SEC opponent like that. But the thing is, like, Kentucky lost to Auburn. Georgia lost to Alabama. Like they all lost to West teams, right? So like in the end, then it's gonna come down to when Georgia plays Florida or when Georgia plays Kentucky, something like that. Like is right now, Arkansas looks like the better SEC East team. To be to be honest, and they don't even have the wins. So like that's the crazy part about it. Like it's so much SEC. Like we know who's dominant in the SEC West is Alabama, and the second behind them is Texas A&M, and that's gonna be like that for a little while until you know what I'm saying until Jimbo gets over that hump and he can beat Alabama. But right now it's Texas A&M or Alabama, then Texas A&M, and Alabama beat them. So A&M's got to hope for 2 losses to Alabama to play for the SEC title. Now that'll be interesting, but there's no SEC East team or West team that can beat Alabama right now because they are who they say they are, the mighty Roll Tide. So that's how that goes, man. Like it's not a lot. Like a lot of games got postponed this weekend, so you don't get to see nothing for real. Like you only get to see Georgia versus Alabama, which after the after halftime the game was boring because it was nothing but Alabama scoring, stopping Georgia and watching Georgia just crumble. They get in the second half of every game they play against Alabama and fall apart. And that's coaching, and I don't understand why. Well, Kirby's been to what the national title, the national championship game against Alabama. He lost. He's played the SEC title game against Alabama. He lost. He's played another a playoff game against Alabama. He lost. Why we can't send Georgia to the SEC West and let them compete that way? You know what I'm saying? Like let somebody else get beat up by Alabama. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, Kirby and Nick, they gonna run the show the SEC for a while. Jimbo's here now, but he can't beat Alabama. Not right now. Kirby just became victim number 22 of the old assistant coaches to Nick Saban. He victim 22. Guess who's victim 23? Jeremy Pruitt. Next Saturday, Alabama versus Tennessee. Shellacking. They're gonna beat them by at least 3 touchdowns. That's how Alabama is the one. That is the only team that can compete right now until we see what Ohio State looks like, and Ohio State take the field Saturday. So right now, you can only say it's gonna be Alabama and Clemson national championship. I don't even think Ohio State's gonna play enough games to even say they were able to compete that way. You know, like it's I said last week that every team in SEC will lose a game. Not anymore. All the teams will lose a game except Alabama. That's it. And if they do drop a game, it's gonna be the Iron Bowl or something fluky. But the Iron Bowl is played this year in Tuscaloosa, maybe. No, it's in Jordan Hare. I think it's in Jordan Hare. If it's in Jordan Hare, they're gonna lose. Yeah, Clemson not losing the game. They're playing an all ACC schedule. They're beating everybody in the ACC by at least 2 to 3 touchdowns. Everybody, and they don't play North Carolina. So North Carolina can actually squeeze back in there to play them if they beat Florida, if they beat Miami and Notre Dame. Yeah. Oh, they in Brian Denny? They didn't play in Jordan Hare last year. That's what Gus gets his wins at when he goes to Tuscaloosa. He don't, I don't know. Mm-hmm. We'll check that out later. Something like that. I ain't really had nothing for y'all for real, man. It really was just a lockup. Lopez won the title last night. Let's see. I guess we can talk Alabama, Georgia. Give it a little bit, and I'll give you some announcements I got, and then that's it. First, I want to say before I go into the Georgia Alabama game, get well to our co-host DQ. He was in an accident Friday night, and he's stable. That's what his wife told me. So get well soon, DQ. Miss you down here at the show. So definitely keep him in y'all prayers, man. That's how I got right now. DQ, Mr. Twinkle Toes. Let's talk Georgia, Alabama. Let me just say it. Stetson Bennett is not good. I know y'all may think he's good. Georgia defense played all they can play. But when you are on the field more than the offense, then you get tired. So, the game was decent. Like the first half of the game could have been the whole game. The second half, Georgia, you didn't even know Georgia came out the locker room because they went into playing thinking they had the Ole Miss talent. First of all, your quarterback is not that good. Like he's there, but he's not good. Like he's not that good. He's not a Kellen Mond. He's not. I don't even give him that. He's not even a Felipe Franks. He's not good. Like he's decent, but he's not good. His throws are inaccurate. I mean, he's short. He has no speed behind the legs. He's just a fill-in. And Georgia wouldn't like they stopped running the ball. Like they were gashing Alabama for yards after yards after yards. And I don't get it. They stopped running the ball. And then they started trying to do the hurry up. Alabama players wasn't even set, but the fact that Stetson Bennett is not good, he cannot see over the line, he has no wheels. His receivers, the wide receivers are not a threat. He's not a threat. The offensive line is not that great, but they're good. And the running game's not a threat. Like Georgia offense is stale too. I mean, they're not worse than Auburn, but they're stale. Like so, they ran the hurry up the whole third quarter. Alabama players wasn't even set, and they were still batting the ball down. Dude is not that good, bro. So, like, I mean, the final score was like, what, 41-24? The score was 24-20 going in the half. Georgia comes out the second half, doesn't score a point. They don't even get down the field that much. Barely, they stopped running the ball. They try to make Stetson Bennett a quarterback that game, and I hate when coaches try to make you become a quarterback in the middle of the game. First of all, this game's on the line. This is a good game. This is me beating Nick. This is Georgia beating Alabama. This is Georgia and T-Town, and we got a chance. All that blah blah blah, and you get out of your game plan. The game plan was to run the ball down their throat and let the defense stop Alabama from scoring. If Alabama's gonna score points, you got to score some points too. You got to keep scoring Because that's what LSU did. LSU took their foot off the gas and Alabama started coming back. You remember that in the national championship, not the national championship game, the SEC. Yeah, national, was it? No. Whenever Alabama played LSU last year, they was just a regular game. They took their feet off the gas pedal. Alabama started scoring points, and then they scored more points. And then LSU had to get back in the rhythm and start scoring some points too. You cannot take your foot off the gas when you are beating Alabama by more than 1 point. You cannot take your foot off the gas pedal. Your defense is going to have to stay hydrated because they're going to be on the field because they're going to not be on the field alone because Alabama's got receivers that's running the flow flat. It's speed kills. And ex Georgia, they know it because they caught 3 90-yard touchdowns in the second. Like, what? What are we doing? What are we doing? Can't get off the field. What are we doing? And Kirby's a defensive guy. He's supposed to have everything wrapped up. Come on, man. That's tough. 24-20, and you thought you had them? No. You can't run no hurry up in the second half. They wasn't tired. They went to the locker room. If you think for 1 second that you had Bama on the ropes and the score's 24-20, Nick Saban has survived the COVID. I mean the pandemic, the virus. In less than a week. 24-20 ain't enough to get your feet off that gas pedal, man. I'm just sorry. It just gotta be better than that. I just think that's how that goes. But Alabama dominates second half. Georgia drops 3-1. Pretty sure they're gonna fall down the rank. They're gonna fall far though, because I mean there's nobody else up under them like Bama, Georgia. No, Clemson, Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and everything else up under that is just get here. If you ain't top 3, you ain't top nothing. You're nobody in this league, to be honest. And if that's how that's going right now. That's how it looks from here on out. I mean, if you're not Clemson or Bama and you're not winning no games or dropping 73 points or dominating second halves or just you're not gonna compete in the SEC. Like not even the SEC. You're not even better to compete in college football because CBS is Saban Channel spelled backwards, and Dabo Swinney runs the ACC. That's just how that rolls. That's how that go, man. College football this weekend wasn't big at all. It just was a lot of postponed games, virus. I do think I'm gonna close it out with, like I said, it was just like college football this weekend was just garbage, to be exact. I mean, if you want to be honest, I mean, it was kind of boring. We waited all day for Georgia, Alabama, and that's pretty much what we got. And it was a good first half, and then it just turned left and just ended the night with that. Once we get everybody back to playing, and you know what I'm saying, like I think football will be a little bit better. Right now, sports in general, it's tough. It's tough right now. Like 2020 has been a trying year for real. So I just think it'll get better eventually. It just, I don't know. Better call Nick Saban. He had the cure. It's less than a week, man. I just had to settle that with that conversation. My main topic was don't fire Gus. It ain't time yet, to be honest. I mean, that contract y'all keep giving him. When he beats Alabama, they get a contract extension. When he loses games that they think they supposed to win, that's when they get to hollering that fire Gus situation. Nah, ain't that deep. Ain't that deep. But War Room tapings. I'm trying to put them together for either Tuesday or Wednesday, but we are doing guests. So and the show should air maybe on a Friday. That's how it should air, depending on how the edit and stuff go. But War Room tapings, we have slots open, seats open. So if you want to be a guest on the War Room, the show, not the Facebook group, you want to be a guest on the War Room, hit me up. You know, my inbox is. You can hit me up in the War Room. If you haven't joined the War Room Facebook group, it's on Facebook. Just type in War Room on the group situation and get at me or whatnot. We'll get you in there. We gotta get a little bit more active in that too. I think that group was made in the playoffs and then it was over with. So we're not even active for real. But the War Room, the show, the taping start in 2 weeks. So if you want to be a guest, come holler at me or call me. You got my cell phone number. You can send me a message on Facebook. You can send me an Instagram message. You can tweet me. You shoot me a text message and something. I don't know. But that'll be that. That's all I got, man. College football this weekend was just college football weekend. It was different. It was definitely boring, indeed. But maybe next week we'll get something better. My next show, definitely Friday. Definitely live on YouTube. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk college football and the games coming this weekend because we got more teams coming back this weekend. I think Ohio, the Big Ten, takes the field for the first time this year. So that should be what we're going with this weekend. So that's all I got. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Get at me. I'm out.